starts with groceries on a Tuesday afternoon in Manchester. Sarah carries 4 bags into her kitchen: bread, milk, and a bunch of bananas from the reduced section that she places in the ceramic bowl by the window, the same one her grandmother gave her years ago. And that's when she sees it. A white patch, fuzzy and strange, clinging to the stem where the bananas connect. Her husband Mark walks in and asks what it is. Sarah shrugs it off as mold, maybe a spider's nest. Mark tells her to bin it tomorrow, and she agrees. But they don't bin it. That night, while the fridge hums and the clock ticks in the darkness, the white sack begins to move. Not from wind or settling, but with a rhythmic pulse that grows stronger with each beat. Then it tears, not from the outside, but from within. Because this was never a cocoon or a harmless nest. It was an egg sac. And inside are hundreds of the most venomous spiders on Earth, about to flood into a family home with nowhere to go, but everywhere at once.
There are spiders! Hundreds of them! They came from the bananas! We can't go back inside, please! Please send someone now!
What Sarah brought home with those discounted bananas has a name. Phoneutria nigriventer, the Brazilian wandering spider. Guinness World Records doesn't call it the deadliest spider. It calls it the most venomous, and that distinction matters. Deadliest means body count, but venomous describes what the bite actually does to you, and what this spider does is beyond comprehension. The venom is a neurotoxin that attacks your nervous system within minutes, causing violent muscle spasms, racing heart rate, uncontrollable sweating, vomiting, and difficulty breathing. But here's the detail that proves this isn't exaggerated horror fiction. In men, the venom causes priapism, a painful and uncontrollable erection lasting for hours. This isn't folklore or internet rumor. It's documented in medical literature so thoroughly that scientists are currently studying the venom to develop treatments for erectile dysfunction. That's how potent this venom is. But what makes the wandering spider truly terrifying isn't just its venom, it's its behavior. Most spiders flee when threatened, disappearing into cracks and shadows. Not this one. When cornered, the wandering spider stands its ground, raising its front legs like a boxer preparing to strike while producing a hissing sound by rubbing its legs together. And then, it charges. It doesn't wait for you to step on it accidentally. It comes for you. That's why it's called a wandering spider. It doesn't build webs or wait patiently for prey. It hunts. It roams. It hides in shoes, laundry baskets, and fruit crates, moving fast and fearlessly through any environment it claims as territory. And Sarah just brought several hundred of them into her home. At 3:17 a.m., the sack splits completely open. What emerges isn't a single spider, but a flood of life. Hundreds of spiderlings, each no bigger than a grain of rice, but already fully mobile and driven by pure survival instinct. They don't huddle together or wait for guidance. They scatter immediately because staying together means death. Cannibalism is common among spiderlings, and the weak become food for the strong. So they run in every direction at once. Some disappear into the gap between the counter and the stove. Others vanish behind the microwave under the dishwasher and into the narrow slots of the toaster. One slips into the crack of the cutlery drawer, while another crawls into the sleeve of Mark's jacket, hanging on the back of a chair. 3 more burrow into the fruit bowl itself, hiding in the curved shadows between apples. They move in absolute silence, becoming invisible within seconds. By dawn, the kitchen is no longer a kitchen. It's a minefield where every shadow, every corner, every innocent household object could be hiding something venomous and fast. Sarah wakes at 7 a.m. and pads into the kitchen in bare feet, filling the kettle and flicking it on without a second thought. Then she sees it. A spider sits on the counter next to the bread bin, dark brown with legs spread wide, its body alone the size of a thumbprint. It's far too large to be a common house spider, and something about its posture feels wrong. She freezes and calls for Mark, her voice tight with tension. He comes in holding a slipper, ready to deal with what he assumes is a harmless intruder. But when he gets close enough to see it clearly, he stops. The spider doesn't run. Instead, it lifts its front legs in an unmistakable threat display. Mark brings the slipper down hard, and the spider is dead. But Sarah doesn't feel relieved because she's already spotted another one on the windowsill. Smaller, clearly juvenile. Then another crawling across the dish rack. Her eyes drift to the fruit bowl where the bananas still sit, and her stomach drops. The white sack is torn open, completely empty. "Mark," she says quietly. "What? How many babies do spiders have?" He doesn't answer because he's staring at the gap under the fridge where two more spiders are emerging, moving deliberately toward the table legs. Sarah's breathing quickens. She opens the cutlery drawer and sees one clinging to a spoon, and she slams it shut immediately. "We need to leave," she says. "What?" "We need to leave the house right now." They grab their keys and phones and nothing else because Sarah is terrified to put on shoes, convinced something might already be inside them. They step outside and close the door behind them, while the cold morning air bites at their skin and the quiet street feels surreal. Mark calls pest control, his voice shaking as he tries to explain that they have spiders. Big ones, fast ones, aggressive ones that came from bananas. The voice on the other end asks where they came from, and when Mark mentions the white sack, there's a long pause before the operator says, "Don't go back inside. We're sending someone now." The pest controller arrives in a white van within the hour. His name is Colin, and he's been doing this for 18 years. He takes one look at the photo Sarah shows him, and his expression changes. "That's a Phoneutria," he says calmly. "A what?" Sarah asks. "Brazilian wandering spider. You bought them with the fruit. Are they dangerous?" Colin looks at her directly and says, "They're the most venomous spiders in the world." Sarah feels her legs weaken beneath her. "How many are in there?" she asks. "If the sack hatched fully, could be 200, maybe more." "Can you kill them?" "We'll tent the house and fumigate it completely, but you can't go back inside for 48 hours. "Will that get them all?" Colin hesitates before answering. "We'll do our best."
Even yours.
Here's what makes this nightmare grounded in reality, rather than fiction. Phoneutria egg sacs typically contain between 100 and 200 eggs, sometimes more depending on the female's size and health. The mother lays the sac and guards it aggressively in the wild, but when the sac is transported, hidden inside a shipping crate of bananas, for example, the mother is often separated or killed during handling. The sac survives the journey. It incubates in the dark, warm environment of the crate. And when it finally hatches, the spiderlings are already equipped with venom and hunting instincts from birth. The venom isn't as potent as an adult's, but it's more than enough to cause severe pain, swelling, and panic in anyone unlucky enough to be bitten. They grow fast. Within weeks, they're large enough to bite through human skin with ease. Now here's the detail that should make you paranoid every time you shop. Phoneutria spiders don't just hide in banana crates. They're found in all tropical fruit shipments: grapes, pineapples, mangoes, papayas. Every year, UK supermarkets report multiple sightings, and while most are intercepted at distribution centers before reaching stores, not all of them are caught. Some make it to the shelf. Some make it to your kitchen. And if the conditions are warm enough, like a heated British home during winter, the eggs hatch overnight. This isn't urban legend or exaggerated internet horror. This is documented reality that repeats itself year after year. In 2013, a family in Essex found a wandering spider in their Tesco bananas, and when the father tried to move it, the spider lunged at him aggressively. He managed to trap it in a container, and the Natural History Museum later confirmed the species. In 2016, a woman in Wales discovered an egg sac in her fruit bowl that hatched overnight, and she woke to find spiders on her counters, walls, and ceiling. In 2019, A Sainsbury's customer in London found a full-grown female in a bunch of grapes, and when they tried to move the container, the spider attacked it repeatedly. These aren't myths or clickbait stories. These are verified case files with photographic evidence and scientific confirmation.
I saw them in the reflection first, and then I felt them. Everywhere. Oh God, they were everywhere.
Let's talk about what happens if you actually get bitten by one of these spiders. The venom is called PHTX3, a peptide compound that works by overstimulating your neurons at a cellular level. Imagine your nervous system as a speaker. The venom turns the volume to maximum, forcing everything to fire at once without control. Your muscles begin twitching violently. Your heart pounds so hard it feels like it might burst. You sweat uncontrollably, drenching your clothes within minutes. Pain comes in waves, burning, stabbing, radiating outward from the bite site like fire spreading through your veins. You might vomit. You might lose control of your bladder. And in severe cases, the venom causes respiratory paralysis. Your diaphragm stops responding properly, making it harder and harder to breathe. You're conscious, aware of what's happening, but your body refuses to obey. You're suffocating from the inside while fully awake. Most bites don't result in death, but children, the elderly, and anyone with pre-existing heart or respiratory conditions are at serious risk. There is an anti-venom, but it has to be administered quickly, ideally within the first hour. And if you're alone in a suburban British kitchen at 3 a.m. with no idea what just bit you, you're nowhere near a hospital equipped with that anti-venom. You're isolated, with hundreds of spiders. In your own home, Sarah and Mark wait in a budget hotel for 2 days, while their house is sealed, tented, and pumped full of pesticide gas strong enough to kill anything with a nervous system. Colin calls after 48 hours and tells them the house has been cleared. We found about 70 dead spiders, he says. Juveniles mostly. There's a pause, and Sarah's heart sinks. Mostly, she asks. An egg sac usually holds around 200, Colin explains carefully. We don't know where the other 130 went. Sarah feels the blood drain from her face. What does that mean? Could mean they were never in the house to begin with. Could mean they escaped through vents or cracks before we sealed it. Could mean they're still hiding in places we couldn't reach. So we're not safe. Colin doesn't sugarcoat it. You're safer than you were, but I can't guarantee they're all gone. They return home to a house that smells sharp and chemical, like something died and was covered up. Sarah won't use the fruit bowl anymore. She throws it away that same day. She checks every shoe before wearing it, every coat pocket before putting her hand inside, every drawer before reaching in. For weeks, she can't sleep properly. She hears scratching and skittering in the walls, and even though she knows it's probably paranoia, she also knows it's entirely possible, because some of them are still out there. Here's what you need to understand. This isn't a rare occurrence. The UK imports over 5 billion bananas every single year, most of them coming from Ecuador, Colombia, and Costa Rica, all of which are prime Phoneutria territory. Spiders hitch rides constantly. They hide in the dark, warm crevices of shipping crates and lay eggs in the folds of banana stems where inspectors can't always see them. Most are caught during inspections at distribution centers, but not all. Every year, dozens of egg sacs make it through undetected, and most people throw them away before they hatch, assuming it's just mold or harmless webbing. But some don't notice in time. Some think it's nothing. And then, one night, the sac opens. So here's my advice, and I'm being completely serious. When you buy bananas, check the stem carefully. Look for white fuzzy patches, silky webbing, or anything that looks out of place. If you see it, don't touch it. Don't bring it inside. Tell the store manager immediately and let them handle it. Because that white sac isn't mold. It's not harmless. It's an army waiting to hatch, waiting to invade, waiting to turn your home into a place you no longer recognize. A place you have to flee because it's no longer yours. When the sac opens, you don't fight back. You run. And you don't come back until you're absolutely certain they're gone. But even then, even after fumigation, after professional inspections, after sleepless nights checking every corner, you'll never be fully certain. You'll shake out your towels before using them. You'll hesitate before reaching into a dark cupboard. You'll check your shoes every single morning without fail. Because once you've seen what comes out of that white sack, you never forget. You never stop checking. And that's the real horror. Not the bite, not the venom, but the fear that lingers long after the spiders are gone. The paranoia, the constant vigilance, the knowledge that it could happen again at any moment, with any fruit, in any kitchen, even yours.